podcast.
Well, awesome. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Nate, dude, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah,
really
thank you so much
appreciate
for
it.
having me. I really appreciate being here.
For sure, dude. Nico, Nate, who I'll let you, tell everybody, Nate, but Nate owns Deep Cuts here in Dallas. Don't take my word for it, the #1 butcher shop in Dallas. I think it voted through D Magazine, right, Nate?
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't you tell us
thank you so
what
much.
you do, what it is, that Deep Cuts is about.
Yeah, so it's me and my wife, we started the business this September will be our 10th year, if you can believe it. It's absolutely,
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
So we just got past our 10th year anniversary.
Hey,
Right?
nice,
I think
guys.
we're 11 years now.
It's amazing.
Not a lot of, so seriously, congratulations. I mean, not a lot of businesses make it that far.
You can understand, man. It's hard. You see so many come and go, and it's, it really speaks to you guys too, just how you have to lock in and really focus down, and it's been a big learning journey more than anything. So
Going back to where everything started, and you going to A&M Commerce, you're going for what you think is going to be your career. How far into that did you get? How far did you get into that? Did you complete your studies and then decided to start Deep Cuts, or did you halfway through decided, man, this isn't for me, I'm gonna start my own thing?
Yeah, so I finished my Bachelor of Arts in English, and honestly, man, I probably could have skipped that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's when I went to college originally, and you see it more and more now too, is I went without a really great reason. I just went because I had to. That was the next step. It's you go to high school, you go to college, you get a degree, and I probably could have spent all that time learning a trade and doing all that beforehand, getting into my career earlier, but I was just, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Even there, I wasn't very purpose-driven in school. A lot of, drinking and partying and all that, and just very little actual schooling. So, but I'm hard-headed enough, finished my degree, and then I started, my master's in linguistics, sciences. And even then, I didn't feel like I was fully committed. So, in what I wanted to do, and then what I was learning, and reading more and more. Politics and Matt Taibbi and following all the, CDO scandals with all the banks collapsing and it just jaded me completely. So, not that I saw the end of times coming, but I definitely wanted a trade that I can latch on to and
something
sink my teeth into and feel useful was probably the biggest thing.
And so you decide to pursue something different. Yeah. And you start working at Whole Foods.
Hershey's. So
at
yeah,
Hershey's.
that's when I went
Hershey's. Okay. Hershey's, that's another butcher shop.
Yeah, small butcher shop in Plano.
And so what prompted that? Why go into the meat industry?
Yeah, so I think, a couple factors at play. When I was in high school, before I ever started, I was working at a delivery company, a little food delivery place, in Plano, right across the street from my folks' house.
Yeah.
And Hirsch supplied some of their meats, and so I got to meet him through that. They were looking for an apprentice, to fill a spot, and I remember talking to him about it and how there was a spot open, but I was about to go to college, and he's like, "Well, it's either this or that. You can't do both." So maybe that was already in my head, but. That's why I came back, because I knew that I wanted to work with that. But also, at the same time during college, I let my weight get away from me really bad, man. I got up to 280 pounds. I lived behind the bar with my best friends who were the bartenders, and so I was just, fat and unhealthy and out of shape, and didn't really pay attention to what food did to your body. And then moving back to Plano, I moved in with a good friend who was a fitness guy and a bodybuilder, and so. At the same time I was living with him, I was losing weight and working out. Started with Hirsch then. I was like, oh man, food can actually kind of fix you. Yeah. And it's what you are, you are what you eat, and then seeing all that. And so that kind of started my passion for learning more about food systems, being in control of your food and all that. And that's kind of what led me down the path I am here.
Gotcha. Yeah. And how long were you? I guess we can consider your tenure at Hirsch's, right? Your apprenticeship and
Yeah.
learning. How long were you there?
Now, honestly, not very long. I want to say late 2010, early 2011 through early 2012.
Gotcha.
So not a long time at all.
Yeah.
Like it was great. It's just I needed a little more. So
Right.
that's when we moved to Whole Foods because back then it was before any of the talk of them getting bought by Amazon. It was still like the old Whole Foods.
Right.
And even then, we could start to see it kind of pivoting and positioning themselves to move to something greater. And we jumped before I got to that point. And now you see it's just such a different type of store than it was back then.
Right.
So
were you with Whole Foods when the transaction happened? When the
no,
sale?
we were before then.
Before that.
I want to say that happened maybe 2016, 17, if I remember right. And so we had fully jumped off by 2015.
Yeah. So, dude, you and your wife, like going out to eat, trying, nice restaurants, good food. And so when does the idea of, hey, I want to start my own business happen?
Yeah, we've always been, me and my wife have been always entrepreneurially minded on our own.
Yeah.
Her family, she was raised up in her family's restaurants. They own different restaurants in Dallas.
Oh, no
and
way. Do they still own some restaurants?
They still own some of those properties, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been sold, and they still own the properties that are there.
Gotcha.
But she grew up working in those kitchens and running the tables for them and all that, so she saw it from that side. And then, me seeing my mother working hard for forever for other people and then starting her own business. And it's funny, my mom joke, we essentially run the same business. She owns a flower shop, and they're almost identical in terms of the struggles that we have, where it's specialty goods that they sell many other places, but service and customer service driven, highly perishable product, and it's a lot of parallels there. It's really odd how that worked out, but definitely that our family's background kind of led us to see that rather than working for someone else, having that ability to jump off and not count on anybody, kind of making your own path is really important for both of us.
Right.
Now, sorry to cut in here, but talk me through that, right? Because obviously seeing Mom get out there, cut her teeth, and build something, bigger than just a small shop. Now she has multiple shops, things like that. I'm always so interested about understanding what that psychology looked like of, okay, we're going to go start this, and then knowing this is going to be a struggle, but this is what we're looking for in the future.
Yeah. I mean, man, I think it comes down a little like hardheadedness and pride. Like you start off and your idea is right. It should be there and exist, and just really being super dedicated, nose to the grindstone. Just like, it's one of those that, how do you know it's going to work? Well, because it has to.
Yeah.
Like you got no other options. So that's definitely how I take the day-to-day approach to the shop. It's like no one else is going to come and save you. No one's going to do the work for you. And if you're not there, someone eventually will come pick up the work, but it's not going to be you. And so just to be part of the conversation and, have our own thing has always been really neat. So.
Which is such a common characteristic in successful businesses, especially those businesses that make it out of that first couple of years, right?
Infancy stage.
Yeah.
Yep. Nate, so you and your wife are out to dinner, trying new restaurants, trying good food, and see an opportunity and realize, okay, I want to start my own business, and you come up with deep cuts. What was it like getting ready for that, and the preparation, whatever people have to do to set up their business, LLC, whatever structure you want, right? To leasing your space, getting the keys, and opening the doors.
Oh man, looking back, that was so naive. So naive. It was like the concept was like, okay, well, if I buy meat for cheaper and sell it for more, how could it fail? It's foolproof. And so in my head, seeing both small niche shop like Hirsch to going to Whole Foods. I saw both sides of the retail game, where ultra customer service, really tight run, very clean, very organized, to going towards a bigger supermarket style where it's just really difficult. You have so many moving parts across a big department. The night or the morning crew has to work with the middle of the day crew, and then the evening crew that close everything down, and none of them talk to each other. So the morning crew resents the night crew resents the morning crew, and then it's half clean. It's just real frustrating. And so seeing both sides of like an ultra tailored manicured shop that is immaculate every single day, to seeing like barely organized chaos is like, man, I think we can do this. We can bridge this gap and carve our own path. So, back then too, I want to say Dallas, had so few butcher shops. There was,
dude, I can't think of, I know now, right? Just because I've been a resident of Richardson and Plano for, going on 10 years now. But, I know that they had, there's Hirsch's, and then there's another one right off in downtown Plano.
Yep. Bar R Ranch.
Well, that opened
Yale Butcher Shops down there. Yep.
Right. And then I found what I know to be like my favorite butcher shop, which is yours, Deep Cuts. And I've been a patron of Deep Cuts now for I think maybe since 2017 is when I
long time.
went into your store. I was like, yeah, this is it. But it felt different, dude. And to your point, right? There's certain things that you can identify, and if you can bridge the gap, if you can figure it out, one, it's some simple things, right? Customer service, and then the culture that you have within your shop, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And everyone's super friendly, everyone's knowledgeable, which I had no idea. I thought you just walk in, pick up meat from a butcher shop and that's it. But you've turned it into, hey, it's cool to go to the butcher shop. It's a cool place, dude. Yeah. Deep Cuts is cool.
Thank you.
And your product is really good. So.
Well, man, I appreciate that. It was a hard process because, I wanted to make sure that we set ourselves apart from everybody while at the same time maintaining some tradition. And so even back then, I don't want to say suffers, that might be the wrong word, but almost every butcher shop in Texas is countrified. There's, it's more towards the rural landscape. There's wooden fixtures, sawdust on the floor kind of style, and there's not a lot of really clean city look like that. Right. Hirsch's, and keep bringing them up, I'm just so proud to be of that legacy where I got to, experience that, where I believe he's from Detroit originally, and so you see a lot of that East Coast influence in his shop. And even the East Coast butcher shops, what you see there is going to be a throwback to European-style butcher shops. Right. And so it's just a very different mode. People are coming in the shop every day and buying meat rather than big bulk packs you see at the grocery stores. Yeah. And a lot of the landscape today is defined by what happened in the grocery stores in the early 80s and 90s, where, grocery stores were bringing in whole cuts of beef and breaking them down in stores, but the liability, the aging out of the meat cutters, it all led to meat coming in smaller and smaller packages, and now like most stores aren't grinding in-house. They're getting prepackaged ground beef from, warehouses that are just taking out of a box and sitting, in their out cases. They're not cutting at the store, if at all, if there's absolute minimally. And so a huge chunk of the knowledge and the skilled labor was erased out of that market. So today there's so few butcher shops because a lot of the guys that were doing it, they're aging out. They're in their 50s and 60s. Last thing you want to do is leave a grocery store after all that time and start their own shop. And then there's very few young guys that were ever interested in stuff like that. Right. And so I've been lucky enough, when I first started, I always worked with older crews, listened to them, and then paired up and was able to find guys that were young and passionate about, hey, this could actually work. This is a viable method. And, even back then, man, I remember I went every single butcher shop in Dallas I'm familiar with. I walked into, looked at every single place, and just got the vibe for what are they doing? How can we be better in our own ways and really set ourselves apart? Right. And I was blessed that my wife made a pretty good investment in the shop when we first started. And in 2015, I went to Europe, and I spent about 3 months between France, Spain, and Italy, just traveling around. I walked into, a couple dozen different butcher shops and spent time talking to the guys there as best as I could with my broken, tourist,
Dude,
tourist.
that's so cool. So you really, you didn't just decide to open deep cuts. Obviously, I guess we could say like just on a whim. You educated yourself even more, right? Obviously, you want to be as best prepared as you possibly could.
Could, man. Failure just wasn't an option back then. I had to, so I couldn't.
Yeah. So you traveled to Europe. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, was that kind of scary making, obviously you're investing so much in the shop and opening everything up, and now you're going, okay, I'm going to go invest 3 months of my life and go be in Europe. Was that scary, making that investment on top of all the other, money put into the shop?
Man, looking back, it was kind of blurred. No, it almost felt like it had to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I did my research. I found the spots I wanted to go before I went there, and then, planned out the trip ahead of time. And so I just felt blessed that even when I went there, walking to different shops, I'm talking like I could barely speak any Italian, any French, basic kitchen Spanish, like that, but enough to get by. And wherever I went, everybody was so grateful that, young aspiring butcher from the States was coming over there and showing any interest. And so multiple times people would invite me in, give me a tour of their shop, let me see how, what their coolers looked like, the setup. And I was just so amazed and just blown away and really inspired by just the European style of grocery, where it's not, I'm sure that it was there and it is there still, but just you go to the market every day, you're walking to your butcher and buying a small portion of meat, you're walking to the cheesemonger, you're walking to the the fishmonger, to the baker, and picking up small things, ultra fresh, and just the food culture there is just so different.
Yeah.
And so I at least want to bring a little bit of that to here. And as we were talking, just the way that Dallas is broken up.
Like you've kept that. There's this personal aspect to getting your food right over there, and I think you feel that at Deep Cuts.
So we really try, man, for sure.
Dude, what when you were in Europe, where did you find your best, your favorite cut of meat, or I don't know, maybe favorite steak?
Yeah, it's so different too, because a lot of Europeans, it's rare to find good fatty cuts like what you see here.
Really?
A lot of stuff is super
Leaner.
lean, a lot thinner, and just different. I have to say, it's just so different.
So there's this place in Spain that supposedly has the best, I don't know, steak in the world. I don't know if you've seen it. I see it on Instagram all the time. But they literally just stick it in the coals and then bring it out, and apparently it's incredible. I don't know what.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I know Italy has their bistec Fiorentina, which is huge old 3-inch porterhouse, bloody rare, and a lot of the good charcuterie and cured meats over there. Spain has that Iberico ham. That's some of the tastiest meat on the planet.
It's If you've never tried Iberico pork, it's delicious.
Life changing, it really is. That sounds crazy to say, but it really will.
It really
make you wonder, how is this even possible to taste this good? So.
Dude, so going back, you get your keys to your shop, and you open the doors for the first time. What are your thoughts? What's going through your mind?
Man, that was tough. Because I remember even a little bit before that, when everything was prepped. You go through all the headache of setting up all the paperwork, the health department, inspections.
How's that, dude? How's dealing with the health department?
Man, really simple, and that's not bad at all. And that's the one thing that we wanted to really begin with is I can give anybody a tour of the shop at any given moment. There's never 1 second of any day that I would be embarrassed to take anybody to every corner of the shop. Yeah. So we're ultra interested in complete transparency, clean environment, and as much hell as I raised at the grocery stores about how dirty those environments are, I knew that I couldn't be a hypocrite and do that. So, every time the health department comes in, we've never had less, anything other than A, top grades on the, and that's not even a concern. So that's really easy to deal with. We're inspected by Dallas. Okay. We're not a Texas state inspected plant or USDA inspected. We're too small for that. That's a whole different category of stuff. So we're essentially treated like a deli grocer in Dallas by that. So
do you have to? And I don't want to get away from
Yeah.
but do you have to have any special certifications to like handle the beef that you're handling, or
Just
Or do you wanna-
basic food handler and food manager certifications.
gotcha?
But there's no governing body for being a butcher, or there's no butcher license or anything like that. Some states
I
will
see.
have that,
Yeah.
guilds and stuff like that, but there's in Texas, nah, it's not at all. So
Okay.
we have a manufacturing license as well for the things that we do, in terms of like grinding beef, sausage making, vacuum sealing, and packing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But back to your point about day one, the day that we got our CO, where we got our final inspection and walking around, and inspector's looking about, he's like, okay, looks like everything's in order. And he goes to hand me the thing, and he goes, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I don't think you understand. He goes, no, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I don't think you understand how ready I am. We've been like at this for like a year.
Just
He's like,
hand me the damn
he's
thing.
like, okay, and like he knew what was going on. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I was so naive, and
Why do you think you were so naive?
just because again, back to what I was saying earlier, it's like, oh, bring in meat for less, sell it
Yeah.
for more. How hard can it be? But just that was the hardest thing. Is when you're first planning out, what does week 3 look like? What does month 3 look like? What does year 1 look like down the road? And there's really no way to know. We had almost no money starting off with. It was so crazy. I mean, my operating budget day one was like if you would believe, it's like $5,000, like to buy meat and do that. And it was just me, our original employee Dustin. He's still there this day.
Is Dustin
He's got the dreads.
the dreads? Yeah.
Yeah. He's still there,
Dustin's
and then
cool.
and then my wife, and we had a business. We had another business partner, a friend of hers who came in. She was an investor, no longer with us, but essentially just me and Dustin running the day to day of everything, and it really helped me almost having nothing to start with, because we rifle in all our orders till this day. We don't buy a lot in bulk and hold it. Everything we bring in is fresh. We don't have a giant walk-in freezer. It's bring it in fresh, cut it fresh, sell it fresh, and then keep on going like that.
Yeah.
So, we didn't have a lot of money for advertising. It's all word of mouth. We do it, all our advertising on Instagram, Facebook, free social media and stuff like that. We do now basic SEO.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped us the most at the beginning is we had our tech lady. She helped us out optimizing some of our SEO before we had to pay for anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking to how old the other guys in the area were for their butcher shops, they could care less about dealing with social media. They didn't know what SEO was.
Yep.
So we got to the top of the rankings in Dallas pretty fast, just for the pictures we were taking, for social media and all that. And that really helped us out from day one. But essentially it was like open doors and hope for the best, and people would come in.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of traction in the neighborhood and all that, and then just
Do you remember about how long it took for you to say, okay, this is now worth it? We're having repeating customers, or we're seeing a larger influx of customers?
man, it really genuinely took probably till about 2018, 19.
Okay, so 4 or 5 years in.
Yeah, about 3-4 years in right then. And then, we were so small. I'm talking like our original shop was 1,400
I
square
remember
feet.
your original
Like
shop.
the front of the store was no bigger than this room right here.
Yeah.
We had the back that was, about 1.5 times the size of a little shotgun shop that we had found a secondary kitchen, did all the improvements and moved in. And man, by the time 2020 rolled around, we were so crammed in there that to run like one machine in the back, we have to unplug one, unplug the other. To like run like the food processor, we'd have to unplug, the food warmer to do the vacuum sealer to do it. So it was really tight in there. And then as soon as we felt like, okay, we've hit our stride, we're doing it, customers picking up, then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So that shifted everything again. So that was a whole nother challenge. But
But you didn't close shop for very long, did you? In COVID, I don't remember
no,
you
so
doing
we
that.
we ended up not suspending operations at all.
No,
What
we were picking up orders. You had us-
exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was so hard. March of 2020, essentially the world was ending. Is that what that's what we're being told? So we didn't have the answers back then. We didn't know. I didn't want to alienate half my customers by staying open and doing the no mask thing, and I didn't want my employees to feel like they were threatened with their jobs if they didn't do that. And so we opted for the plan where, I remember it was the day that I was like, okay, we're going to stay open. We're only going to limited people coming in the shop. That's what we're going to do. And then someone walked in like hacking up a lung. I was like, we're not doing it. No thanks. So we ended up locking the doors for that run until 2021, where you'd have to call in your order.
Yeah.
We would assemble your order, scan it in, or cut it, bag it, scan it, hold it, call you back, then you come pick up.
Yep.
It made it such a pain, and we'd get called like, what do you mean I can't see my meat? I can't come in. And so that was a really big challenge, but it really helped our systems today. So we're super efficient with orders now.
Yeah.
People that we picked up during that can trust us, because I would never sell anything that I wouldn't take home myself. And so people saw that when they were getting quality products, and there's no scamming. I don't have that in me to cheat people like that. So it was a benefit. We actually saw our business double in that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Because people are at home, they can't go out.
That's awesome.
And then all of a sudden, like, the Crunchy Maw movement and Liver King was big back then. And everybody all of a sudden was interested in where the food come from, and that seed oils and all, just the...
Talking about that,
Go
so
ahead.
sorry, but talking about that, listening to you, Nate, you can tell you have such a love for quality. You could tell when you were talking about, your time at Whole Foods, time at Hirsch, and just, your understudies and your college. Can you tell me more about, like, obviously being in the meat industry, quality matters so much.
Oh,
but
yeah.
to you, your own health journey and everything else, and obviously at the shop, like, what does that quality mean to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. It's one, it's it's our name on the product. So it's us in the shop every day. There's no other crew that comes in. I think I have right now 9 employees total, 5 of us full time, and I hate fakery. That's the thing. I wanted this, and I want to create something real. It feels like it's a terrible feeling, but it feels like most things in our world today are fake or scams. There's some way to take from you without providing, without true service or true quality, and that's just one I want to get away from. And so I refuse to put down our quality and set down integrity. Yeah. It doesn't feel worth it. Why even be in it? Why be a part? So it just wanted something real. That was the big part.
Which is hard to find, especially in the food industry these days.
It really is.
That's why we vibe, Nate.
Thank you.
It's cool to see that, I think there's a perspective shift, especially here in the U.S. of, people are trying to find more quality ingredients. They're trying to find more quality options. Yeah. Of course, convenience has always been king for the longest time. Have you seen that switch in, obviously, new customers and returning customers?
That's probably our biggest driver for new customers that come in, and it blows my mind every day. Every single day we get at least 1 or 2 new people like, how long have you been here? I had no idea. Yeah. And a lot of our drivers, if you look at our our search results online, as people looking for healthy meat or butcher shop or animal processing or like clean food, clean meat, stuff like that. And it's just a lot of people realize, like, the grocery store, you're not going to find what you're looking for. People are so divorced from what it takes to get an animal from the field onto their plate. And a lot of it was that fakery in restaurants, and you'll see like farm to table. It's like there's no such thing. You cut out such a huge part of the industry that deserves a ton of respect and a ton of knowledge about, because there's no farm to table. You have to get that animal, you have to deliver it to the slaughterhouse. It has to be slaughtered in a humane, safe, and food safe manner. Right. Then it has to go on to further processing, which is when it comes to us, we break down the animal in shop, keep it, maintain it, cut it, and then provide exactly the cut you're looking for. So a lot of it comes down to educating our customer. People come in and have no idea what they want, and that's perfectly fine. You're not necessarily supposed to, but talk to us. We'll get you the exact perfect cut for what you're doing. That's right. That's our job. If we can't do that, what are we doing? So
that's a great perspective to have. Yeah, because I think a lot of people might be intimidated by
all the time.
I want more quality meat, but what do I get? Right.
Right.
Yep. So what's your first go-to? What do you lead people towards?
So it depends. So it's always a conversation at the counter. Yep. Most people, all all they know, and to this day, the bane of our existence is tenderloin. Everybody loves it. Nothing against my customers. Nothing against you for your tenderloin, but there's just so many better options.
Yeah.
People hear filet mignon and they think it's the most expensive cuts. They think it's the fanciest, and of course it's tender. It's a good cut. It's a good cut, but there's no texture, there's no flavor.
Okay.
So what I'll do is anytime a new customer comes in, be like, I'm looking for something. It's like, okay, well, how are you cooking? What kind of dish? Like, well, I'm looking for like a roast. Okay, awesome. Well, you looking like roast in the oven, a smoker, something like you want to shred apart. Like, yeah, I want something like to fall apart, like a nice. Okay, so looking for something for a braise. Like fatter, you like leaner. Like, I like a leaner. I don't like a lot of fat. Okay, well, come, let's take a look at this right here. You want something you like, with a bone in it. Bones, the bone's kind of scary me. I don't really. It's like, okay, not a problem. Let's look at these cuts right here. I have a top round, I have round, sirloin tip.
Yeah.
They're all going to do the same thing in a slow cooker. You like a little beefier or you like a little more mild. And so we just kind of try to guide them into there. And so now that you've taken them in, like, oh, I have all these options that they try, that they come back the next time, they'll love it. And like, they'll trust you even more. Like, I really love that cut.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, hey, if you like that one, try this one right here. And then it's just about building that rapport and that trust with the customer. Like, I have no reason to steer you wrong or to sell you the more expensive cut over the cheaper cut. We build our margins not on that, but we build them on like the ability to sell it and move it. And it's just, I want you to have the best experience every single time you come in.
Yeah.
And, if that's teaching how to cook from scratch, I have no problem. Like, I'm not a gourmet chef, but our job is I have to be able to teach customers or educate customers on what every single cut does for the circumstance. So
What that end
Right,
product
for
is.
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I got to ask all the time, what's your favorite cut? And it's like, well, I don't have one. It's what am I cooking? What is the right cut? Is the right question. So.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question as well. What are you going to pick if you have your
Bavette.
choice?
I'd never tried Bavette until Nate put me on
Yeah.
Bavette, and it's
an
incredible.
amazing
It's such a
cut,
good piece of meat. I mean, you have all kinds of different meat, but and good quality beef. But dude, so going back to quality, all that stuff. Is there? So I've tried different diets just to see how I react to it, what my body does. I've always enjoyed doing stuff like that, and for a little while, you may remember, I was coming into your shop like 3 or 4 times a week.
You want a lot of ribeyes,
I'm buying a shit ton of ribeyes.
Yeah.
I was doing carnivore, so it led me to this rabbit hole of sustainably raised. What is that? Is it actually a thing? Regenerative farming. Wagyu beef versus grass-fed beef versus akaushi
Yep.
beef. So it got me, I went down that rabbit hole because I really wanted to put, quality. I wanted to eat quality beef. Is there a huge difference, dude? And let me ask you this, or I'll tell you this: grass-fed versus Wagyu or corn-fed, dude. Grass-fed might be healthier, but Wagyu tastes 1,000 times better.
Yes. No, it's a wild amount of difference. It's fractal, man, just because it can go any kind of different way.
Yeah.
Most part, when people come in looking for, they're tired of grocery store, they're looking for healthier options. What they want to know, first question almost every time, is this grass-fed, grass-finished? Is this, like you said, is this regeneratively raised? Is it local? Is it all these different factors? And so it's a really hard balance, because I would love to be a whole animal shop that only does grass-fed, grass-finished, animals on the pasture, just all these different factors.
Right.
But at the same time, that's not what the customer's looking for.
Right.
Grass-fed is an awesome option. It's a great flavor. It's minerally. It tastes like grass. It's lean, and people hate it. And most people hate it. It's such a powerful flavor that, and it's like, again, not a lot of fat, that people are all excited to try it, and they're like, that was a really tough steak. I'm like, yeah, that's what you get. And so people like grain. Texans, Dallasites love grain in their beef, or grain-finished beef. And so that's really hard, because in order to get that, you have to have either animals that are fed on the pasture, lots of grain, but at the same time, you can't get the weight of those animals up, so the marbling never really sticks because animals are walking around, they're burning calories. Texas goes through a lot of seasons
Yep.
where it's hot, super hot, and the animals will shed weight, so you have to put more feed into it, or it gets super freezing, and then they still shed the weight. They have a hard time keeping the weight on.
Yeah.
And so it's that up and down seasonality that leads to that 100% pasture raised being really difficult to get that animal weight up for what people want to see in the marbling. Because I can have a ribeye in the case that is fed like that, that's lean, that's devoid of marbling or lower marbling, and I still have to charge the same price, if not a little bit more, for a grain-finished, lot-fed steak and the same thing. And people with their eyes, when they come in, they want to buy the more marbled steak
Right.
every single time. And like, why is that so expensive for this? Well, it's because the farmer had to put more feed into it.
Right.
They're not, they're not some mega corporation that could put billions of dollars into these programs. It's just not that. So it really is a tough balance. And then same thing for talking about preferential cuts. People want ribeyes, New York strips, and tenderloins, all the main steaks in abundance without thinking that the rest of the animal, what do I do with that?
Yeah.
So it's a really hard balance where we do a lot of, and I've, especially lately with beef prices just climbing with no end in sight, we've really expanded our whole animal option to kind of offset that. But at the same time, we have to blend it with our box beef program just because I can't, if I don't have tenderloins for certain customers, they'll walk out. So it's that really tough balance.
Has that impacted your business quite a bit? Have you seen maybe a slowdown in customers or anything like that?
It's different. Last year was our best year yet, so every year is growing. I haven't seen a huge dip, but you can see the concern on customers' faces for sure. Because even though we are a specialty shop, we're still grocery, and so I have to be competitive with HEBs, with the Krogers, Albertsons, all those stores. And so while I don't really consider them my competitors, we're right next to it. So it's really tough. So I definitely see a lot of people concerns about it. And I see the kind of hollowing out of some of the customers that buying smaller amounts of those items, but we're still getting customers that want that quality, and they can't get away from. They're not going to, we haven't seen them leave us because we haven't backed down on that. So yes and no. And even nationwide, they're starting to see a trend where beef prices just continually go up, but also demand for meat is going up. So it's really difficult because I don't know where that ends, where it gets so expensive and so out of reach that Americans eat less beef. We haven't hit it yet. And unfortunately, I don't know if that means that big producers are just going to keep raising their prices until they see that.
Yeah.
And I doubt you're going to see prices go back down. When does that ever happen for any industry?
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I think beef is such a staple in in the everyday consumer. I don't think
There's so many factors leading to that right now too. That's the big news for months and months and months. It's less beef being brought in from South America, Canada, Mexico.
Right.
And farmers selling off their herds when beef is an all-time high, so there's less beef on hoof in the United States. There's more people eating beef, and it's just a perfect storm of.
Yeah, how does that work? I mean, because there's I've seen and I've had beef that's brought in from New Zealand.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Do we not have enough cattle here in the U.S. or
Genuinely
is
no.
it that much more expensive?
Well, it's a really deep rabbit hole there because if you look at the big five, I think there's 5 major meat packing companies in the United States that they own. Don't quote me. I want to say it's like over 80% of production, something like even more than that. And large part of the problem is their lobbying of cool laws. Cool is country of origin labeling, meaning that beef can be raised outside the United States, slaughtered, sent here, and as long as it's further processed in United States packing houses, it can be considered U.S. beef. And so it's a big issue because they can pay laborers less overseas, they can buy it for cheaper, ship it over here, and then pay Americans less to process that. So.
And are the safety regulations the same?
I can't necessarily speak to that, but you just don't know because they've lobbied, they've lobbied for so long and paid our congressmen so much to help write the bills that are getting rid of that. It's a very big problem. I mean, you have anti-beef defamatory laws where you can defaming big beef, you can go to jail for that. You get huge fines, and so
What?
it's, oh
Really?
yeah, it's a real thing. What is it? King of the Hill had like a big thing on it. That was an episode, like a whole episode, years and years ago. So it's
Yeah.
a real thing.
I had no idea.
I mean, he could.
I guess we got to be careful on this
Yeah, with-
podcast.
I
a little.
know that's I don't know how much more I
love all
want to.
beef. Everybody.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it's there's not a lot of young folks getting into those production packing facilities. You just don't see it. A lot of the migrant labor and immigrant labor has been hollowed out. For whatever you want to think about immigrant work, they did supply a lot of that labor for cheap beef, and now that they're just not there, or they're scared to work, or they can't, it's just going to lead to higher prices no matter what. So,
Which, a lot of the things that you've been saying, of course, construction, the beef industry are two total polar opposites ends of the market, I guess, in business. But there's so many comparisons. One that you were saying is just, there's a lot of people aging out. We see that a ton in our space. The skilled trades they're just going, and
skilled labor aging out.
Yeah, and so I think we talk about it is we somewhat carry the responsibility to continue to inspire that, but raise some of the awareness of there's so many good livings being made in those skilled trades, but maybe it's not the sexiest job in the world. Now, I guess in your space, how are you seeing that? You're one of the few younger people getting into the industry. Are you seeing that start to pick up a little bit, or is it an ongoing fight?
And I might be a little out of touch for the grocery store side. I've been in our shop for so long at that, but I think it's pretty difficult because of all the trades, especially in the food. We're like an industry. The food industry, with same as like restaurants and all that. Unfortunately, butchers and meat cutters are super undervalued in that. I think most grocery stores, they're starting at like $12 to $15 an hour. I think a top end butcher for like a manager position at like, a grocery store lead is only making about $35 an hour.
Yeah.
And so it's good, but a lot of those places don't provide, even smaller plants, smaller shops can't provide insurance, PTO, and stuff like that. And I really pride myself on that, is we offer health insurance, we do PTO and sick time if you need it, and just my wife, she was key in that, and I've come around fully. It's not like I was against it, but so it's just highlight the importance of how can you command 45 hours of a man's week, 80 hours, and not provide them with the ability to have health insurance to take care of themselves,
their family. Yeah.
And so because of that, I don't think you're going to see a huge turn for youth to get into that. And I don't know where it goes. I mean, the plants aren't, it's not like small shops are making all the money. The ranchers aren't making the money. A lot of that's been collected in the middlemen, the delivery companies, the major packing plants and all that. And it's a lot of us tied up in the middle there.
I guess you're doing your part already of just really running a top quality shop that continues to grow. And I think people will continue to see more value in that. And I think one of the other things that you were talking about as well is like your vendors, right? Your suppliers, the people that you work with on the day in, day out, not only your employees, but where you get some of your, for you, where you get some of your beef, for us, some of our supplies, things like that, is mattered more than ever, right? I think we went through the chaos of COVID and all the volatility in that. And then nowadays as things, still the market's absolutely crazy, but we're still at the end of the day affecting, the average American and people that are, getting up and going to work every single day. How important have those vendor relationships been for you? Have they continued to grow? Have you had, bad breakups, things like that?
And luckily, no. I mean, it's one of those, we pay our bills on time, so they're happy with us. So we've been very fortunate to find companies that have similar values that help us source products that we want. The turn last year to more and more whole beef, and that being more important to, like I said, to offset the higher box beef prices that are just climbing without any control of ours.
Right.
It's been really nice to have those local purveyors that are helping us find that. It's been everything, actually. So it's been nice to work with them. I don't have to go out and deal directly with the slaughterhouses. I've met them, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm so tied up at the shop, it's impossible to get out. So, been very grateful for my vendors.
That's awesome.
And I get you enjoy being at the shop, right? And if you go to the shop, odds are we're going to run into you, Nate. Do you ever see yourself stepping out, maybe building out other deep cuts in different parts of town? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about that for so long, and ideally, no, not for the butcher shop.
Yeah.
I mean, we could see it. We've talked about it, but I think the next step for us would be something in our space, but not necessarily a butcher shop storefront.
Yeah.
Probably what we would want to do is a larger processing facility where we're bringing even more whole beef, and giving an avenue for smaller restaurants and people that are looking for, further processing, custom processing, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So essentially what we do in the back of the house, but just we're so tied up with retail.
Yeah.
It's hard to command even more of that time for bigger production.
Expansion.
So
Yeah.
So I want to say, I don't know if it's Texas or Dallas, but I don't think there can be any slaughterhouses within 2 counties of any city that has more than 1 million people in Texas. So that's why you see Texas is really difficult. You'd figure, Texas is the beef state. Butcher shops everywhere, farms everywhere, and in smaller areas and counties that might be true. But in Dallas, there's no farms surrounding us because of laws, and even people don't want slaughterhouses in the city.
Right.
Elsewhere around the nation, you have, slaughterhouse districts that are historically there that slaughter, send to restaurants, and Dallas just doesn't have that culture. So our slaughterhouse in Santo, Texas, that we pick up the beef from, is trucked in, and then we process it. So I'm not even looking to slaughter. I want to build a processing facility in the North Dallas area that we can then deliver beef to, break down our own beef, box it, and ship it into the area. So. Yeah. Ideally, that'd be our next big project, and maybe a burger joint to attach to that. But
bro, that'd be awesome, dude.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
But
you guys already have. I think you do burgers every once in a while, but you make your own Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah, we've carved out a little lunch niche for ourselves. So every weekend we do Philly cheesesteaks, hot dogs, and then a couple rotating sandwiches.
Yeah. So you could potentially maybe down the future see something along those lines.
Yes, I'd want to build it and be part of it. I wouldn't want to run it. That's not my thing. I'm not a very good line chef.
Well, you got customer 1 and 2, right?
Yeah,
as soon as it
line
pops
me
up.
up.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So, Nate, and again, going back, because I love, a founder's story, right? And what they went through when they first started, all that stuff. I mean, what was, thinking back, what was one of your biggest challenges that you faced when you started Deep Cuts, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I think it's just the unknown, just the planning, and then just getting folks in the door for sure. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to get people in? I'm here in the shops that I can go out and sell myself. It's not a product that just I can walk to places, to customers' doors and buy it. So just sticking to our guns, and really just, I think the thing that hasn't changed is our original goal. That's probably what I'm most proud of, is we started with the vision of fresh cut meat, really good integrity, clean space and all that, and just sticking with that to this day. So just keeping your eye on the prize and just remembering what we started for. That's by far the hardest part. It's tiring every single day, getting up early, there late, there all the time.
Yep,
but
it's a grind.
Yeah, but you have to do it. Like I said, there's no one else to, so why not?
We were talking off camera, right, of, as companies grow, and especially, being the founder and employee number 1, and, your wife jumping into it, and she's employee number 2, right there together. You wear so many hats. What's your least favorite hat to wear, and what's your favorite hat to wear?
Oh man, that's so hard. Oh man, least favorite hat for sure is HR. Because it's so difficult. One, just for on a regular basis, in importing your vision into your employees, because no one can care about your business more than you. It's impossible. But one thing I'm blessed with is that my employees, the people we've surrounded ourselves, really do seem to share the vision. And so I'm so proud that, even not being at the shop, I know my guys will take care of it. I've been so on them about, I'm so particular about small details, because the details is what really matters. The first look, I assume that everybody that's going to come in the shop, it's their first time. If the case is blown and looks ugly, I know that's my first impression when I walk in a different place. Like, I'm not going to tell them, but I'll definitely remember that for forever.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really, really want to impress on the guys. Like, look, assume it's everybody's first time and they don't know anything. If that's their first experience and it's a poor one, it's going to take so much longer to climb out of that hole than it is to provide them a good experience.
Yeah.
And so definitely that's the hardest part, is getting them to realize that, I might be an asshole. You have to do it this way, but I can reason through anything. I'll never give the guys, anything that I won't do, but I won't give them anything that I don't have a valid reason. And talk me out of anything. If you can see a better, more efficient way to do something that makes financial sense, I'm all about it. So that's definitely the hardest part. My least favorite part is getting that locked down. It seems to be the most challenging for sure. But my favorite part is just, I don't know. Maybe just seeing the customer really connect with our vision and enjoying the products, and them coming back in, like, that was so awesome. Definitely being the salesman that makes a big difference. That's definitely my favorite part. So
That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool.
thank you.
Yeah, HR does suck.
I remember, dude, just going back, I remember your small shop, and I remember when I think is the shop you built into the shop that was next to
Yes.
you, right? And I remember seeing that when you first, I think you had it like taped off or something like that. And I went back home. I was like, Jazzy, you know my wife. I was like, Jazzy, I think Nate's like expanding his shop. It was super cool. As a customer, you feel really like happy, right? And then I get to know you a little more, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. I'm super happy for your success. Dude, do you ever stop and smell the roses and realize 2014 to where you are now?
Man, honestly, I really do. That's part of the part where it's so hard to remember that in the heat of the moment, where everything's on fire. I have 10 things on the stove, customers that I'm dealing with, the grinder head just locked up, so I have to fix that. I'm getting questions asked, and then I have to step back but that's what really centers me. Like, man, even though this is the hardest thing I've dealt with in a long time, I'm grateful. The fact that I even have this problem to deal with, I'm blessed. There's so many people that had not even gotten to this point and failed for various reasons, sometimes not even their own. I mean, that's maybe one of the hardest realizations of life, is that you can do everything right and still fail.
Yep.
And that's a hard pill to swallow, but I really do take time regularly to step back and enjoy the hard times, because down the road you're gonna be like, that wasn't that bad.
They're lessons. They're just lessons.
Yeah.
Was there a point, maybe within your start or any of to now, where you were like, man, it's I don't know if we're gonna be able to continue?
Honestly, no. I'm so stubborn and so prideful. I'd pass out before I let that happen. So, no. There's been, it's always the hardest part. Just like I said, we've been lucky. We're not in a ton of debt from the shop, and so it's always hard. Like, I'd love to take on more to build out and grow, but I'm so risk adverse that it's been hard. We're like, man, the bills, the finance are so tight. I wish I could have more to do this. Yeah. And so that's always, any small shop owner, that's going to be the hard part for sure. Yeah. But that's definitely just a little bit of sweating there on the bills. But it's it's never been super bad. So
right,
that's awesome.
Nick, so obviously I've said it many times now. I'm a frequent deep cuts quite a bit. But you do something really cool where you bring in local shops, or some may not even have a shop, right? They're just crafting stuff out of, wherever, a warehouse, but you're also helping other shops, sell their product, show their product. is that just something that you wanted to do? Did someone help you out? Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really cool.
No, for sure. We're constantly looking for great new products that, are good accoutrements to what we already carry. Ideally, I would love to start more into the grocery space, and so that's done by. You can go to any grocery store and get the same products essentially everywhere. I really want to, we really wanted to curate an awesome space of like specialty products, and there's so many people in Dallas that just don't have that to do. So it's, or don't have a place to get that out to. It's hard to get into grocery stores, almost impossible sometimes. So if it's a good product, if it makes sense, we'll bring it in and happily shelve it. So it's been many, many times, and I just, we just want to be a spot that people can do that. So
That's awesome.
Dude, how much did your liver cells go up with the whole Liver King thing?
An embarrassing amount.
Did it really?
Yes, and almost all of them were one-time customers.
Yeah.
Because they come in, they're like, and they wouldn't say anything. They'd just be like, hey, do you guys have liver? I'm like, yeah, we got liver. Like, okay, do you have bone marrow? And I was like, yeah, we got liver and bone marrow for sure. Showed it to him. I was like, you can eat this raw? They're like, have you heard of this Liver King guy? And I was like, yeah, I've heard of Liver King. And I was like, okay, and they're asking me all kinds of questions, and I was like, I'd sell to them. We'd rarely see those customers again, just because. Try eat a piece of raw liver. It's
I'm guilty. I tried.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I went in and bought liver from it.
It's hard. It's hard.
Ruben didn't always look like this. He was actually much smaller.
And then I had 2 pieces of raw liver. And
it's
boom, just blew up.
Yeah, it's hard when it's
rough,
cooked,
dude.
man.
And I like cooked liver. My mom we grew up eating. My mom every once in a while would make liver and onions with homemade flour tortillas, and that's how we'd eat it, and some hot sauce. And I tried to eat some raw liver, and it's rough.
Yeah. If it works for that guy, it works for some people. I'm not going to knock it. If you can do it and that's what you're into, sure. But put a little fire on it. It's a little better. So.
That's crazy. Yeah. If I ever walk into the shop and I start asking for that, just like call 911 or something like that. Cause
like, Nick, what are you doing?
I'm not in my right mind.
Yeah.
Nate, I'm so interested in your story because obviously from 2 completely different pages, right? Going to school, what you did for your undergrad, went to doing your master's program and everything else to now where you're at. Obviously, a lot of growth in there, but with the studies that you had, right, and knowing your industry so well, if you could go in and rewrite, one of the laws or one of the standards of the industry, if you could go make one change, what would it be?
That's a really good question. Probably just transparency.
Yeah.
Just in the industry, the cool laws would be really big. Just give American farmers, really empower them more, bring more into the landscape for them, to give them opportunities to grow their herds, to pass that on to the smaller packing plants, and then just a bigger education system that fosters more interest in food and the food system and the supply chain. Because, if that goes tits up, what else is there? Where do you get your beef from? You're gonna there's no change. You can't just drive anywhere and get it. And so just teaching people that it's every step is ultra integral into an actual winnable system, like something that's survivable. So
That'd be amazing. That'd be really cool.
Nate, so when you're not at the shop, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm there a lot. I'm there a lot. So
He goes, what do you mean not at the
yeah,
shop?
what do you mean I'm not at the shop? No. I'm a hobbyist jiu-jitsu guy, so did a stereotypical thing. Started jiu-jitsu when I was 34. But I do that, train about 3-4 times a week. Absolutely love it. Shout out to Leo Machado and Brazilian top team in North Dallas. Amazing gym, hard training, really good. So big fan of that. Work out with my son, with my stepson. He's been big into lifting weights this year, so that's really cool. Got a gym partner now, so
Nice.
Between that and jiu-jitsu and drinking too many beers, that's mostly it. I don't.
My guy.
I try to stay pretty simple, man. I don't got a lot, so I say I feel wealthy just with what I have. So I have a beautiful shop, all the equipment I could ever need to process all the beef I ever want and make all the good food. And you know, go to the house and cook and relax with the family. And
Nice, dude. Hey, so I've got another question. You've had it for a while now. You're aging, your dry aging, like cooler thing that you have. How long can you keep beef, or how long can you dry age beef for?
Yeah, so I mean, you see all kinds of different programs that do anywhere from 30 days till 240. You see some go a year, and for us, I kind of find a diminishing rate of return after about 60 days. Our sweet spot is between 45 to 60. That's at 45, you really start to pick up the nutty, funky flavors. Okay. 60 for me, it kind of peaks, and then the longer it goes, just those blue cheese notes, the yield that you can get off of those primals and all that. Yeah, it's just not worth it. And some people might like it, but 45 to 60 is about where we like to cut it off.
Gotcha. And that piece of equipment that you have, that's specifically to dry age beef?
Exactly.
You can stick a fresh piece of meat in there and then just leave it.
Yeah, exactly. We probably put about 60 pounds worth of meat in there just a day. So we'll do short loins and ribeyes. And so we try to keep one rotating all the time. We'll cut one to order. And this is probably the biggest draw in the shop just for eyes on, because it's right by the register. And people come in like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. And it tends to be like one of the biggest draws for us for sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your go-to?
If I had to pick, man, like I said, I never give myself enough time to set up my meals. I'm just always in such a hurry. Yeah. So like you said, the bavette steak is, a really easy go-to. Yeah. Fan of flank steak, or probably the really good cut, really overrated is beef tips. So I'll take an inexpensive cut, like top round, and I'll fine dice it until I can, like, quarter-inch, half-inch pieces. Beef towel down in a pan, like fry them hard and eat that with some rice and tacos. So that one's really good, really fast. Cilantro and lime, and nothing to it.
Sounds good right now.
It's so good. You have the marinated fajita.
Yeah, we make our own achiote rub, marinated fajitas.
Like red adobo.
Yeah.
It's so good. And all your sausages, I think you make in-house too.
Yeah, all the sauce are made.
Your black bean habanero sausage.
Yep.
That stuff is...
That's a good one, yeah.
So good.
Bringing whole muscle pork, cut and grind it, all from scratch. We mix all the spices by hand. There's no preservatives. It's salt and spices, and that's it. So smoked ones, of course, you need nitrate to protect from botulism and bad bacteria in the smoker, but all the fresh sausage, just nothing to it. So
Man, we should not have done this right before lunch. This is sounding way too good. You have room in your car and head back over there?
Yeah, come on, man.
All right, let's do it. Nate, one of the cool things that I kept hearing you talk about was your wife. We talk about it here a lot, that we're surrounded by incredible, powerful women that have supported us, pushed us, called us out, and I think that's what our type of personality needs. But for you, like, what has it meant to have somebody in your life that has pushed you, supported you?
Oh man, she's getting my head screwed on. I've tried to mess it up. I'm sure as you guys both know, and she's definitely been the center of everything. It was her vision originally that she taught me why the shop should look like it is. She'd spent time on the East Coast in her early career, and kind of turned my vision towards that. And her taste in food kind of centered us towards what it is right now. And it was everything. She's definitely the center of why we started it. So she's the one that actually gave me the belief that we can do it. She called me Dream Slayer because I'm so, she'll have all these ideas and all these things. I'm like, well, what about this? What about this? I'm more logistics focused and all that. And she just, she says, just cut her down. But it's like, I think both sides are definitely needed. So it's been awesome having her. So.
That's great, man. I can't agree more. I think you need, both sides of that coin to continue to grow and have those...
Push each other.
Yeah, bounce ideas off of each other. And that's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Well, that's great, Nate. Dude, thanks again, man. I think, we're a little over an hour in, but Nate, again, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for opening Deep Cuts. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for being such a good customer. I'm happy to be here. It was awesome. You guys got a good thing here.
Seriously, I can't recommend you guys enough, and you and your shop and your team. You guys are running an amazing shop over there, and you know, it's a true testament to, again, dude, hearing you tell your story just reminds me a lot of, you know, why we do this, why, you know, I decided to start saying you see see an opportunity to try and bridge a gap where there's a certain deficiency. You know, for us it was communication and customer service, excellent customer service. At the end of the day, I feel that that's what it boils down to, right? Regardless of the industry that you're in, you know, quality customer service, attention to detail, transparency, honest communication, no different. So awesome, man. Super happy for your success. Again, I think you were voted #1 butcher shop in DFW.
That's right.
If I'm not mistaken. Well deserved. So amazing, dude. Congratulations. I wish, you know, you more success. Super excited to, if you do decide to open up that, you know.
Thank you. We'll
burger
get there.
joint.
We'll get there. It seems like a little bit off, but we're working on it.
That'd
So.
be amazing. But yeah, dude. For, you know, the viewers and listeners, where can they find you? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. So we're at northwest corner of Coit and Beltline in far north Dallas. Yeah, Google us. You know, easy to Google us. Look us up on Instagram at Deep Cuts Dallas. Give us a call, email us, reach out, and we're happy to get you whatever you need.
Do it. They're amazing. Best butcher shop in DFW.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Nate.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
fellas.
man.
Thank you,
Yep.
dude.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
this was fun.
Thank you, brother.
Heck yeah, dude.